yeah, he's two different people. He pretends to be a nice guy, but he's no. He's an asshole. That's what he is. He pretends to be a nice guy, and oh yes, I'm just looking for the fight. I'm happy, and then but in other place he talk a lot of. That's it is what it is.
Canelo Alvarez did not hold back, harshly calling David Benavidez two-faced, saying he pretends to be a nice guy in public while talking differently behind the scenes.
Seeing the way he talks, he think he's Superman, right? And he is very disrespect. Not just with me, with everybody, and he's accomplished nothing. He's not even a champion, and he's not even in my weight class already. And it's a lot of things there that doesn't make sense. And plus, at this point in my career, I can do whatever I want.
Benavidez remains convinced that Canelo's reluctance to face him reflects how real a threat he represents. Still, his confidence goes well beyond Canelo as he backs himself against anyone willing to step into the ring. For Benavidez, the bigger goal is continuing to prove himself against whoever comes next.
I do think he's scared of me, but like I said, I know that there's no man that could face me, that could beat me in this world. Yeah. And I'm 100% confident in that. So if it's not him, whoever, I don't care, I'm gonna be beating everybody. And this is something I wanted my whole life.
Yeah.
I really worked to be the greatest that I could possibly be, and I feel like I'm on the steps of making that happen.
Canelo offers a very different explanation for why the fight never happened, pushing back against the idea that he avoided Benavidez. He points to his run through the division's champions and questions why Benavidez was not in that position when becoming undisputed was his top priority. From Canelo's perspective, the situation has changed and the fight no longer makes sense for him.
And then if he was a champion at that point, I fight him because my goal was being undisputed. So
looking past the debate over whether the fight happens, Caleb Plant sees a matchup with very little separating the two fighters. He views Benavidez's non-stop combinations and forward pressure as a possible route to success. While Canelo's ability to control the tempo creates a different kind of threat for Plant, the outcome could ultimately come down to which fighter is able to force his preferred style on the other.
This camp, who has the best game plan, who slept the best the night before, there's a lot of variables that go into winning a fight. It's normally not just one reason you lost or one reason you won, so.
And it's not much that separates guys at that level.
So it'll be hard to say. If David could get on him with his combinations and not give him room to breathe, and that's probably a night that David gets his hand raised. If Canelo is able to slow the pace down a little bit and catch him with a big shot. David's been dropped before from an off-balance shot. He wasn't really hurt, but would you be surprised if Canelo stopped him? No. So it's hard to say, but I get asked that a lot.
Man, talk to me about your love of cars, bro.
That uncertainty is exactly where Oscar de la Hoya challenges Canelo's position, arguing that the strongest available opponents should have been impossible to ignore. He points to Benavidez's long pursuit of the fight as evidence that the opportunity was right there. In de la Hoya's view, Canelo ultimately chose not to take that challenge.
That does not want to fight the top guys, then that's the problem. The fighters not having literally the balls to go up there and fight the toughest challenges, because maybe you might be protecting your maybe you're never scared, but you just don't want to face certain fighters. And I believe, and we've heard it over and over and over again, Benavidez calling out Canelo. Why didn't Canelo want to fight Benavidez? You have to ask that to Canelo. I have my answer.
You have to ask. You were trying to negotiate. You were trying to make that fight, right?
We couldn't get him to the table at all. Excuse after excuse. I mean, come on. Benavidez was chasing you for so long.
That possibility is also why Roy Jones sees Benavidez as such a difficult challenge for Canelo at this stage. He points to David's relentless output, conditioning, toughness, and ability to keep the pressure on as qualities that could force Canelo into a very uncomfortable fight. For Jones, Benavidez brings many of the problems that could make this a particularly tough night for Canelo.
And any time right now is the wrong time to fight Benavidez, because he's a hungry lion who throws a lot of punches, who we haven't really seen hurt yet, who has a very good gas tank, and who's big for the weight class. Everything Canelo don't want to see, David Benavidez is that. That don't mean Benavidez is gonna beat him. But everything Canelo don't want to see right now, David Benavidez is that.
From another angle, Bernie argues that Canelo could still consider the matchup, but only under conditions that significantly reduce Benavidez's physical advantages. He sees a strict rehydration clause as one way Canelo could control the terms while also testing just how serious Benavidez really is about making the fight happen.
Established and a legend and a champion and all that good stuff. But to bring him back, because it'll be the David Benavidez, he popping right now. So if I'm Canelo, I'm like, okay, make 168 and you got 10 pounds over. You can't come in no more than 178. And that's it. You want the fight so bad, you can't come in no more than 178.
Rehydrate.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah, you want the fight so bad. Okay. I'm gonna fight you at 160. You're gonna wait no more than 178.
Especially now that you're the unified champion at cruiserweight.
Yeah. I'm not fighting nowhere. Nope. That's what I'm gonna do. I mean, you keep calling my name, you want it so.
Beyond the negotiating details, Bernie, the boxer, still gives Canelo the edge if the fight ever gets made. He sees areas in Benavidez's game that Canelo could take advantage of, even though the relentless volume would make it a very demanding night. In the end, he trusts Canelo's experience and ability to adapt to find a way to win.
Said that, he wouldn't be able to get away with some of those stuff with Canelo. Are you saying that you believe that Canelo would beat Benavidez if they meet up?
I will favor him to beat him.
Canelo.
I will favor him to beat him. It'll be tough because he threw a lot of punches and Canelo, I don't know. I mean, like I say, I seen him hanging there with Bivol. So I feel like he didn't do too bad against Bivol. And I think that, I think he can exploit David a little bit. He can exploit him a little bit. But it'll be tough. That's why I make sure he man at 168, can't man no more than 178. But it'd be tough. But I think Canelo could find a way to win.
Even so, Jose Benavidez Sr. insists his side has moved past chasing Canelo after years of trying to get the fight made. He argues the matchup is even less likely now, especially as David keeps building momentum while Canelo moves deeper into his career. Still, if Canelo ever wants to revisit the rivalry, Jose makes it clear they are ready to settle it inside the ring.
We left all those things. I don't think that fight is going to happen. Canelo does not want to face David, especially after this performance. But people still keep asking and asking and asking and asking. And it makes it look like we're asking for him. We don't want to know nothing about Canelo. But if you ask me, we're here. If Canelo wants to fight at 175, we're not going down to 168. Let's make it happen. We're here to fight the best. People, I want to do this for the people. The fans want to see David Benavidez against Canelo.
Jose Benavidez Jr. sees the balance of this rivalry shifting with every year that passes. In his view, David's continued growth could eventually change the appeal of the matchup entirely, especially as Canelo gets deeper into his career. That leaves Benavidez with little reason to put his own progress on hold for a fight that may never actually happen.
David, Canelo, I feel like he's had a lot of great fights. He's a good fighter, but I feel like it's kind of on the time out. David's just younger. He's going to get more experience, going to get stronger and bigger. And I feel like having the people wait, whether it's he wants more money, whatever, it's not going to happen. People are going to end up not even wanting to watch the fucking fight because he's going to be too old.
I agree with that. I agree.
Shifting focus to Canelo's future, Oscar de la Hoya suggests his priorities have naturally changed at this point in his career. With retirement getting closer, he sees fewer reasons for Canelo to take unnecessary risks unless the reward truly matches the challenge. Even so, de la Hoya feels there is still an opportunity for Canelo to test himself against elite opposition if the right fight presents itself.
I don't know. I think if you think about it, look, every fighter has its peak, and then you start to, see the exit clear. And Canelo's, Canelo is right there. He's a few fights away from retirement. So I don't blame him for taking the money and running. I don't blame him. I mean, he's a smart guy, but I do feel that he has a few good fights left in him against.
Ryan Mendoza sees no shortage of major opportunities ahead for Benavidez. With several established names potentially within reach, the next step is finding an opponent who can genuinely push his career forward. Much will depend on whether the business side can come together for another significant and meaningful matchup.
that's the thing, you know, hopefully they can, even if they go for the interim or whatever they can do it, hopefully, you know, they can find the next best thing, you know, or if, you know, he's still the, you know, got that light heavyweight title, you know, whether we get it, you know, with Bivol or Callum Smith, it's just any of these guys, like the bigger names, you know, so that's what we want to see at the end of the day. And, you know, whether, you know, regardless, you know, for the interim or whoever it is, it's just as long as, you know, it's a good fight, something solid, maybe we can still even actually get the Jairo Pataia fight if we can kind of figure this whole mess out. So once all the politics of business kind of gets away from it, hopefully we can get these bigger fights lined up.
Meanwhile, Jose Benavidez Sr. remains patient as the landscape around David continues to change. Rather than locking in on one particular opponent, he wants the leading fighters around Benavidez to show the same genuine willingness to make a major fight happen. In his view, once that intent exists on both sides, the obstacles surrounding a fight become much easier to get past.
You know, we know that Bivol has a fight coming up, you know, now. We heard there's a mandatory, you know, so I haven't heard nothing about Better Beef. That would be a great fight too, you know, so things just change a lot, you know, at the end of the day. You know, at the end of the day, it's about these guys, not their managers, not their trainers, not their promoters, you know, it's about them. If Bivol wakes up and say, hey, I want David, let's go, 5 minutes, let's make that fight happen. That's what it is.
Adding to that outlook, Teddy Atlas sees Benavidez as a fighter built for the biggest challenges available. He points to the combination of skill, toughness, and mindset that has allowed David to keep expanding his options rather than waiting around for one specific opportunity. For Atlas, that willingness to take risks is exactly what could lead Benavidez toward even bigger fights down the road.
See, I think every day of the week and twice on Sunday, I like to see Benavidez. I mean, Benavidez is an action fighter. He's a good fighter. He's a great fighter. He's a terrific fighter. He's buttoned up in all areas, mentally, you know, technically, physically, and he's, you know, like they all have the great heart, but he's the guy, you just kind of touched on it, that, you know, he said he's willing to come down. That's Benavidez. You know, have gloves, will travel.
Tim Bradley, meanwhile, sees Bivol's effectiveness coming from how smoothly every part of his game works together. Rather than relying on one standout weapon, Bivol consistently puts himself in positions where opponents struggle to get their own offense going. For Bradley, that level of control and ring intelligence is exactly what makes him such a complicated assignment for Benavidez.
Do think, look, I understand everybody feeling the educated feet of Bivol, the sharp precision, hand speed, the ability to counter, to make you pay for mistakes, the sound, technical efficiency of Dimitri Bivol, who, again, I'll say, is an all-time great light heavyweight. We talk about the great light heavyweights in the history of boxing. Dimitri Bivol has earned his spot amongst the greats. But I think Benavidez is even a little faster. Now, I understand if you think the feet of Bivol, the distance control, will nullify the hand speed advantage that Benavidez has if he can put them together. Bivol might not be there to allow him to put that.
Ben Whitaker also sees plenty of interest in a potential Benavidez versus Bivol showdown, particularly because there is already some history between them. His biggest question is whether Benavidez's growing body size could create complications on the way back down in weight. If those logistical issues can be sorted out, Whitaker sees it as exactly the kind of matchup that would immediately grab the attention of the entire boxing world. The tension between Canelo and Benavidez continues, but the possibility of them finally settling it in the ring remains the biggest question of all. Could this fight still happen, and if it does, who would you favor? Let us know in the comments, and do not forget to like the video and subscribe for more boxing updates and analysis.